Hi, everyone. Good evening to all of you, and welcome to the webinar for the day. I have someone in the Q&A section. Okay, so everyone, let me tell you, beforehand, before we start the webinar, that you will be given time to ask your queries and questions. And for that, you'll have to wait till the end of the webinar. So let's start without any delay. All right, so for that, I'll have to share my screen, and here I share my screen. So the topic for the webinar today is, what do 9 bands in IELTS mean? Okay, so let's see, what do we have? So to be discussed, what all will be discussed in the webinar: exam pattern, then we'll move on to sectional scoring, total band score, one skill retake, negative marking, band description, and last but not the least, we'll talk about good IELTS score. Okay. So let's start with the first topic, which is IELTS exam pattern. So exam pattern, if you're not aware, then here it is. IELTS test component, duration, and brief description about the exam. So the first exam here is listening. Time which is given to you is 30 minutes, okay? And brief description about it is 4 sections and 40 questions, all right? Moving on to the another module of IELTS, which is reading, which takes about 1 hour, that is 60 minutes. It has 3 sections in total and 40 questions. Next is writing. Writing also takes, just like reading, 1 hour, that is 60 minutes, and you will get 2 tasks. Okay, 2 tasks. Then speaking, 11 to 14 minutes and 3 parts, that is one-on-one conversation with the examiner. To another topic, that is how are scores calculated. So let's see, how are they calculated? All right. So understanding the IELTS scoring system, you will get a score on a scale of 0 to 9, which will be described as a band. Okay. And then IELTS has 4 parts. We already know that now. And you'll receive an individual scoring for each part, along with an overall score that will be a sum average of all 4 of it. Okay. All right. Moving on to another slide. Slides are creating a little problem. Just excuse me for a second, guys. Here are some of the cases, or you can say examples, okay, which will help you to understand how your scores are calculated. So case 1, let's see, listening 8, reading 7.5, and in writing 7.5, and speaking 6. So this is just an example that a candidate has got, 4 scores in different 4 modules. So the total which has come up is 29. Now we'll divide 29 by 4. Why? Because we have 4 modules. So 29 divided by 4 is 7.25. Now the score ends in 0.25. So rounded up to the next half band. So you can see the overall band which the candidate has got is 7.5. Okay. So this is how your scores are calculated. Now, if we see the example 2, listening 8.5, reading 8, writing 8.5, and speaking, the candidate has got 7.5. So the total which has come up is 32.5. Now divided by 4, it comes to 8.125. Now the score ends with a fraction below 2.5, right? So round it up to the next whole band. Thus the overall band will be 8. Overall band score 8.0. The last example, case 3, listening 4, reading 4.5, writing 4, and speaking 3. Total is 15.5, and divided by 4, it comes to 3.875. So after 3 point, the score ends higher than 0.75, right? So round it up to the next whole band. So this is how it is calculated. You will get a band score of total 4. That is overall band score 4.0. Okay, so this is just a fair idea, to give you a fair idea how you are marked or scored. Okay, you do not have to learn this, but just to understand how you will be scored. Moving on to the next slide, that is listening. Let's read about it. The IELTS listening test contains 40 questions, okay, in total, and each correct answer is awarded 1 mark. Scores out of 40 are converted to the IELTS 9 band scale. Scores are reported in whole and half bands. Whereas in reading, the IELTS reading test contains again 40 questions. Each correct answer is rewarded 1 mark. Scores out of 40 are converted to the IELTS 9 band scale, and scores are reported in whole and half bands, just like listening. Now let's see what IELTS reading band scores are. So if you see on the screen, there are different band scores for IELTS academic correct answers and IELTS general correct answers. So if you're not aware of this, let me just tell you in one line that there is a difference between IELTS general training and academic. Okay, the marking scheme, the scores. So you can see here 39 to 40 is 9, whereas only 40 is 9 for general training. So you can see there is a light weightage on the academic part, whereas general training candidates do get a fair amount of marking scheme. Okay, so you can say that academic marking is a little bit tougher as compared to your general training. Okay, you can also find these scores on our site. So if you want to download them, you want to see where you stand after you practice, you can always go there and download. Coming to the IELTS listening band scores. Now those were reading scores. Let's see what IELTS listening band scores look like. So 42, 39 again 9, and 38 to 37, 8.5, and so on. It remains same for academic and general training because listening is same for both the categories. Coming to your IELTS writing marking scheme, let's read about that. So IELTS writing task 1 and task 2 scores are calculated using 4 criteria. What are those 4 criteria or parameters? Let's see. First is task achievement, also known as TA, how well you answer the question. This is what it means. And if you want to increase your score in TA, that is task achievement, then you should present the information accurately, answer all parts of the task, provide a clear overview. This overview is written in task 1. Okay, when we'll go in detail, we'll let you know. Highlight key features and support details with data, that is for academic task 1, and give a clear position, have a definite opinion in task 2 and general training task 1. Okay, so this is what you should do if you are willing to get high score or higher marks in just this parameter, that is task achievement. Second is coherence and cohesion, also known as CC. What does it mean? How well is your text structured? So if you want to increase your score for CC, manage paragraphing. Make sure that each paragraph has a central, clear central idea. Use the linking words like firstly, thus, hence, moreover, however, furthermore, besides, and so on. Moving on to the third parameter or criteria, that is lexical resource, also known as LR. How good is your vocabulary? To increase score for LR, use a wide range of vocabulary, use less common lexical terms, and avoid errors in spelling and word formation. Let's see your last criteria or parameter. Grammatical range and accuracy, GRA. How good is your grammar? Definitely grammar plays a very essential role in your IELTS. Do not forget that. To increase score for GRA, use a wide range of grammatical structures and tenses. Manage punctuation, avoid errors in sentences, definitely. Coming to the IELTS writing score calculation. So here is a small example for you. Each of these 4 criteria receives a score from 0 to 9. Okay. After that, an arithmetic mean is calculated to determine the task's total score. So for example, if task 1 gets following marks, okay, in task 1, the candidate has got 6 for task achievement, 7.5 for coherence and cohesion, 7 for lexical resource, that was your vocabulary, and 7.5 in grammar range and accuracy. Okay, so these are the 4 criteria with their marks. Then their total score of IELTS task 1 is 6.75, plus 7.5 plus 7 plus 7.5. So we have added all those scores divided by 4. So in task 1, the candidate has achieved 7 bands in total. Okay, this is how you are marked. And same goes for your writing task 2 as well. You are, given all the 4 criterias are given different marks, then divided by 4 after adding. I hope that's clear. So IELTS writing total score, note that writing task 2 weighs 2 times more than writing task 1. So writing task 2 has definitely, some weightage over writing task 1. That doesn't mean that you have to give more attention to writing task 2. Both the tasks should be given equal, attention, and equally, practiced well. So if you get 8 for task 2 and 6.5 for task 1, the total score for IELTS writing section as a module, whole score will be 8 into 2 by 3 because it has more weightage, task 2, plus 6.5 into 1 by 3. So one part of task 1. And that comes up to 7.5. So this is how you, calculate your writing score just for the writing section. All right. Coming to IELTS speaking scores, how they are calculated using 4 criteria again. So the first criteria of speaking, sorry, not writing, speaking score is fluency and coherence, also known as FC. So that means how clear and structured is your speech. And if you want to increase your score for FC, then connect your sentences by linking words and sign points. Extend your answers, add all the relevant details, speak smoothly and continuously, and use pausing correctly. Okay. All right. Second parameter or second criteria of speaking marking is lexical resources. Again, vocabulary plays essential role in speaking as well, apart from writing. So how good is your vocabulary? To increase the score for LR, use a wide range of vocabulary, discuss different topics freely using appropriate words, speak formally or semi-formally. So do not be informal in front of the examiner. That is a very big no. Choose words accurately. Use idiomatic language. So idiomatic language is basically your idioms and phrases which you have learned about in your school and college. So that will play around in your IELTS as well. If we talk about pronunciation, then how naturally you sound. To increase your score in pronunciation, or P, will be pronounce words as clearly as possible, record your speech and work on the words that you spell incorrectly, stress words and sentences correctly, use correct intonations, and try to be easily understood by the examiner. Okay, so these are few points which you have to take in mind regarding pronunciation. If we talk about grammatical range and accuracy, that is GRA, how good is your grammar? So to increase your score for grammar, avoid grammatical mistakes. Try to use more advanced grammatical structures like passive voice, direct speech, different tenses, and conditional sentences, etc. So here is a secret tip along with this, that if you use, more of perfect tenses, definitely your bands, they tend to rise, because that will reflect that how good is your grammar. So if you're willing to use perfect tenses, go for it, but only if you're comfortable with them. Okay. So that was a tip in between. Now let's talk about one skill retake. So I'm sure most of you must be aware. If not, let's read about it. What is it? What is IELTS one skill retake? IELTS one skill retake is a new way to give test takers confidence that they can reach their potential and showcase their full English language ability. Okay. So with IELTS one skill retake, you now have the option to retake any one section of the test. That is listening, reading, writing, or speaking. So any one of these you can take. Okay, one more. If you need to improve on one area instead of retaking all the 4 sections, so this is a very good news to, for many of the students, because many of the candidates did lag behind before, right? They were not able to clear all the 4 modules with their desired bands. So this is a good news for them. We know most test takers get the scores they need the first time, but if you feel you haven't performed to your best in your, all areas or all 4 modules, then IELTS one skill retake can be that help to get you back on track. It will be available for both the candidates, that is IELTS academic and general training tests. So yes, it is available for both the categories. Now, if we talk about negative marking, let's see, do we have negative marking here or not? When it comes to taking the International English Language Testing System, which is the full form of IELTS exam, many students wonder if negative marking is applied. Negative marking refers to the practice of deducting points for incorrect answers. This can be a cause for concern for test takers as it may affect their overall score. So let's see what the answer is. The answer is no. IELTS does not apply negative marking. So this means that you will not lose points for incorrect answers. Wow, that's a good news again. Instead, your score is based solely on the number of correct answers you provide. In the listening and reading sections, each correct answer is worth 1 point. In the writing and speaking sections, your performance is evaluated based on specific criteria such as grammar, vocabulary, coherence, and fluency, right? So we have already read about this. Each criterion is given a score ranging from 0 to 9 bands, and then an overall score is calculated by taking the average of these scores. So that also we know now because we have seen the examples in the previous slides. Okay, now let's talk about this. What is a good band score? So many of you must be having this question that if you are, willing to apply for IELTS or if you're willing to sit for this exam, what is a good band score and what should we aim for, right? So let me tell you before I start with 9-band scale and its description, that every candidate would be having, a different approach to the exam, different capability, plus most importantly will be, having a different band which is required as per the university and college. So before you sit for the exam or before you apply for IELTS, I would request you, all of you, to just, do some research and see what all you need or which band do you, mostly require for getting into that university or college. All right, coming back to the slide, the IELTS 9-band scale. So 9 is an expert user. Definitely, we do not have any band beyond 9. So 9 is the highest band in IELTS. The test taker has fully operational command of the language. This means that the test taker or the candidate has fully operational command of the language. Their use of English language is appropriate, accurate, and fluent, and shows complete understanding. Okay, so not just that you're able to speak well, but you're also able to grasp what the other person is saying. So understanding is also important. All right, coming to the 8 band, 8 means very good user, a little, slightly lower than 9, you can say, if not fully lower. Then the test taker has fully operational command of the language with only occasional unsystematic inaccuracies and inappropriate usage. Okay, so very slight minor mistakes. They may misunderstand some things in unfamiliar situations. They handle complex and detailed argumentation well. So this is all about band 8. Let's see what band 7 stands for. So band 7 candidate is a good user of English language, and that means the test taker has operational command of the language, though with occasional and inaccuracies and inappropriate usage and misunderstanding in some situations. So again, minor one, if not very minor, but a heavy minor one mistake. Then they generally handle complex language well and understand detailed reasoning. Okay, let's see what 6 band stands for. So 6 is for a competent user, somebody who is competent in the language, if not really very good. Okay, so the test taker has an effective command of the language despite some inaccuracies, inappropriate usage, and misunderstandings. They can use and understand fairly complex language, particularly in familiar situations. All right. So that was all about the bands. We are only taking till 6 bands because we do not, focus more on 6 and below. We want all the users, all the candidates who would be joining with us or who are in fact joining with us to gain or to get their desired bands above 6. Okay, so that is why we have placed only 6, 7, 8, and 9, because these are few of the good bands in the band scale of IELTS. So with that, we come to the end of the slide. And if you want to know, definitely, if you want to know more about, IELTS or the exam or any detail related to IELTS, then you may write to us on the comment section of our pages. Okay, we do regularly answer our candidates. So yes, coming back to the Q&A session. So now guys, you have time to answer your, to question your queries. So you can put the questions in the Q&A section and I'll happily answer them. Let's see, what all do you want to ask? Well, you can have this information on our site. David, if I'm not, wrongly pronouncing your name, if that's your question. All right. So how can I sit for this test? Well, I'm not getting your question exactly. What do you mean? Like about the exam or about the pattern? Or you want to know the dates for the month? What exactly is your question? Can you just elaborate it, please? Okay, so guys, if you do not have any question, you are, allowed to stay back and see what others are asking because that might help you. But if you do not want to do that, then definitely you're free to just move. Okay, so you can just leave the meeting. Thank you. So somebody has posted, hi, my previous score was 6.5. I want to upgrade. So how can I do that? Well, 6.5 is not a bad score at all. As I said, that 6 and above is all good because that is what, most of the universities and colleges do ask for. But if yes, you're willing to upgrade and improve on it, then Maria, I think you should, get an IELTS trainer, get that. If not the help of IELTS trainer, then there are a lot of, practice materials on our site. You can go and watch the videos again. You can take the help from there. And yes, there are a few tips which I'll be sharing in the upcoming webinars as well. So if you want to attend those, that would really help you. You can just go back and, watch the videos again for your help. So 6.5, I'm assuming, Maria, that that's an overall score which you have got. So if you're talking about individual scores, then we do have, different strategies and tricks for different papers. It's not just about one paper, it's about different papers, reading, listening, writing, and speaking. And yes, let me tell you one more tip, that reading and writing are the two modules which candidates do find, really tricky. And speaking and listening is something which candidates do tend to manage. So in those two modules, you do not need much of attention if you're a good speaker already. But yes, if you do not have a basic level of English as well, then you need to gear up in all the four modules. So I hope, Maria, I answered your question. If not, then you can write back again. And you can also answer, you can also ask these questions or queries on our comment section as well. We will happily answer you there as well. You can get in touch with our counselors. They will, happily help you in getting your desired bands and whatever queries and questions you have. Can I find the resource such IELTS books? Okay, so yes, let me tell you, there are free books on YouTube as well, or many other sites on Google. So you can always find them. We also have the study material and sample papers which you can solve and see where you stand in terms of reading and listening, even writing and speaking. So all the four modules and the materials are given on our site. You can just go and have a look. Also, you can practice your listening from YouTube. If you do not know, there are, videos given for every IELTS Cambridge book. So for example, if IELTS Cambridge book has, if you're practicing, then you already must be knowing that there are 4 tests in total, right? And every test has all the 4 modules of practice. So you can just write down on YouTube IELTS Cambridge and then just get the audio. And the resource you can find on Google. You just need to type the IELTS book number and test number. So you'll have all the books of IELTS Cambridge on YouTube and Google, okay? And additionally, as I said, you can just go back and refer to our, latest sample papers and mock tests, all of that, and practice from there as well. Somebody's asking, is it necessary to get higher band to get into top universities? Well, Venkat, that's a very tricky answer, to be honest. But yes, if you need a good university, you need to have a good band. And as I said in the middle of the webinar as well, that you need to know and you need to research somewhat before, getting into IELTS exam, before sitting for it, in fact, and before, getting into the training of it, that what university or which college you're applying for, and see what are their requirements. If the requirement is high, then definitely there you need to get that band to get into that college or university. But if that's not the case, then you can opt for, some other college or university where they accept a little bit lower band. How could I find at this moment if it is possible? Okay, so for that, I'll just put, a link on the chat in the end of the webinar. So you can just check that out, how you can go and, check our counselors who are willing to help you on all the sites. So I'll just put the link of the site here on the chat in the end of the video. Okay. Is there any other question which you are confused about? Any one of you, like if you want to ask something about IELTS, reading, listening, speaking, or writing, any 4 modules, or in fact, majorly about the webinar which we conducted today. Okay, so the meaning of this question, as far as I'm understanding, how could I find at this moment if it is possible? Then I think, and I'm assuming that you're, willing to download some of the sample papers. I think that would be a good start for you, Mohammed, the question which you have asked. So you can always, go back to our link, which I'll be providing you in the end of the webinar, and just click on it and you'll get many sample papers to, practice, at least give it a start. And then you can move on to other resources like Oxford or Cambridge IELTS books, all of those, and then you can practice from there as well. Okay, so you'll get a fair idea how the exam is done. Can we have some recent sample papers? Yes, we do have the recent sample papers, Maria Khan, in our site. So that is what I'm actually talking about. I'll just be putting them, not the sample papers, definitely, because there are many. So you can just go back to our link, which I'll provide you in the end, and click on that and you'll get. Okay, so please, what is the difference between academic and general IELTS exam? Okay, the spelling of IELTS is wrong, no problem. So yes, the basic difference is that academic is taken by the candidates who are willing to go for their graduation, for studying, okay? And general training exam is basically for people who are willing to work outside their country, or basically if they want to just migrate to another country. So this is the basic difference between 2 categories. Okay, so now according to you, you can just choose which one you're opting for and which is your requirement. All right. Okay, so thanks. I'm planning soon to get a test. Yes, definitely. So IELTS exam is conducted on a daily basis. If you do not know that, you can always check out the dates, okay, from our site. Just go to shikshaabroad.com and you'll find the exam sites about it, the overview, everything, dates and pattern. So that would really help you. And okay, yes, definitely. So the centers are provided everywhere. It's, come on, it's IELTS. Okay, so IELTS is accepted globally. So no need to worry about the test center or where will it be conducted. You can always choose, you will have, options, many options to opt for as per the city or country even. So yes, you will have many areas where, IELTS is conducted. So you can just choose from the link, okay, from our site. All right, guys, is there any other question to be asked before I wind up and send you the link? So if there is no other question, then I would like to wind up. So please wait for me, at least for 1 or 2 minutes. I'll just find out the link and put it here on the chat for you. So you can just go back to it, click on it, and you can see there are many counselors who are given there. You can choose your own counselor as well. So that option also we have. And also you can read the reviews of the counselors there. And definitely somebody would be there to help you regarding all this, dates, exams, everything. All right, guys, so I have, put the link here. You can always go to this link, click on it, and find out and question all your queries here. Okay, fine. So with that, we end the webinar. So I hope it was helpful to all of you. Thank you, all of you, for joining us, here in the webinar today, and I'll see you in the next one. All right, fine. Take care, guys. Till then.